Your morning coffee habit might be a bigger gamble than you think. And no, I'm not talking about caffeine. The real difference between a healthy ritual and a daily stressor isn't the bean, it's the brew. We all think brewed coffee is the gold standard, natural, authentic, pure. And instant coffee, that's the cheap, fake, unhealthy impasta, right? What if I told you that gut feeling is completely wrong? What if the coffee you trust is quietly raising your cholesterol, while the one you dismiss is actually gentler on your stomach? The truth is, both instant and brewed coffee can help your brain and metabolism, but they can also spike your anxiety and wreck your gut. The question isn't which one is real coffee, the question is which one works with your body instead of against it. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how they differ chemically, how that impacts your health, and which one is the right choice for you, not for your ego. Let's start by getting one thing straight. Coffee isn't just a drink, it's a chemical delivery system. Yes, it has caffeine, but that's just the headline act. Underneath, there are hundreds of other compounds, polyphenols, acids, oils, and antioxidants that influence inflammation, blood sugar, and even how your brain handles stress. And here's the first surprise: instant and brewed coffee both start from the exact same beans. The difference is all in the processing. Brewed coffee is extracted fresh, cup by cup. Instant coffee is brewed first, then dehydrated into a powder. The common assumption is that dehydration destroys all the good stuff. But research shows that's not quite true. Instant coffee actually retains a lot of its antioxidants, sometimes at levels very similar to brewed coffee. So, the real story isn't about what's lost. It's about what gets removed and what gets concentrated during the process. Now let's talk about caffeine, because this is where most people get it wrong. The popular belief is that instant coffee is weaker and brewed coffee is stronger. While on average, a cup of instant coffee does contain slightly less caffeine, the difference isn't as big as you might think. More importantly, caffeine isn't the simple hero or villain we make it out to be. Your dose and your timing matter far more than the type of coffee. But here's the catch: brewed coffee is wildly inconsistent. The type of bean, the size of the grind, the water temperature, the brew time, all of these change the caffeine level. One cup could be mild, and the next could feel like a panic attack in a mug. Instant coffee, on the other hand, is predictable. The same scoop gives you the same dose and the same effect every single time. If you're someone who gets jitters, anxiety, or energy crash from caffeine, that consistency is a huge advantage. So which is healthier here? It's not about instant versus brewed. It's about which one gives you control over your intake. Let's move on to acids. This is where many people feel the difference, but don't understand why. Coffee contains chlorogenic acids. On one hand, they're powerful antioxidants. On the other hand, for some people, they're major irritants. If you get heartburn, bloating, or an upset stomach after your coffee, it might be the acid. And here's the twist: instant coffee is often lower in these particular acids. The brewing and drying process actually reduces them. So for those with sensitive stomachs, instant coffee can be a much gentler option. Most people assume fresh brewed coffee must be easier on the gut, but for many, the opposite is true. If coffee bothers your stomach, don't just blame the caffeine. It might be the acid profile, and in that race, instant coffee often wins. But now we need to talk about something nobody likes to discuss: processing byproducts. When coffee beans are roasted at high temperatures, a compound called acrylamide can form. In very large amounts, acrylamide is classified as potentially harmful. And yes, studies show that instant coffee typically contains more acrylamide than brewed coffee. Now, before you panic, context is everything. The levels found in coffee are far, far below what's considered a risk. You would have to drink an extreme amount every single day for years to even approach dangerous levels. So, should this single fact make you swear off instant coffee forever? No, but if you drink multiple cups a day, is it something to be aware of? Yes, true health isn't about avoiding every single risk. It's about understanding your total, cumulative exposure over time. Okay, let's talk about oils, because this part is critical for a lot of people. Brewed coffee, especially from unfiltered methods like a French press or Turkish coffee, contains oily compounds called diterpenes. The two main ones are caffeine and cholesterol. Research has shown that these compounds can significantly raise LDL cholesterol, the bad kind. Now, if you use a paper filter for your brewed coffee, it removes most of these oils. But instant coffee, it contains almost none of them to begin with. This is not a minor detail. If you have high cholesterol or a family history of heart issues, this really matters. Most people never make the connection between their coffee brewing method and their blood work, but the scientific data is clear. In this category, filtered brewed coffee is safer than unfiltered, and instant coffee is the safest of all. Once again, the answer isn't emotional, it's purely mechanical. Let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture: hormones. Coffee has a direct impact on your body's hormonal system, influencing cortisol, adrenaline, and dopamine. When you drink coffee is just as important as what you drink. A cup of coffee first thing in the morning, when your cortisol is already naturally high, can create an unnecessary stress spike. A cup in the late afternoon can disrupt your sleep quality, even if you have no trouble falling asleep. This is where instant coffee's predictable dose becomes an asset. It makes timing your caffeine intake much easier to manage. With brewed coffee's variability, it's easy to accidentally overshoot and get more caffeine than you intended. Ever wonder why one day your coffee feels like a perfect boost, and the next day it completely ruins you? It's not in your head, it's the chemistry. And now, we have to talk about additives, because this is where instant coffee gets its bad reputation. It's true that some brands, especially the cheaper ones, contain additives like anti-caking agents or artificial flavors. But let's be fair, brewed coffee is hardly innocent. How many people drink it black? Most add creamers, flavored syrups, piles of sugar, or artificial sweeteners. At the end of the day, a cup of black instant coffee is infinitely healthier than a cup of brewed coffee that has been turned into a liquid dessert. The healthiness of your coffee isn't defined by whether it's instant or brewed. It's defined by what you put into it. Health isn't about some abstract idea of purity. It's about the total sum of your choices. So, after all that, which one is actually healthier? The honest answer is, neither one is the universal winner. It completely depends on you. Instant coffee is often a better choice for people with sensitive stomachs, cholesterol concerns, or anxiety triggered by caffeine. Brewed coffee, especially when it's filtered, can offer a richer antioxidant profile and has lower levels of acrylamide. The real mistake is believing that tradition automatically equals health, or that convenience automatically equals harm. Your body doesn't care about coffee culture, trends, or what your favorite influencer drinks. It only responds to chemical compounds, doses, and daily patterns. Here's the most important question, and it's one most people never ask themselves: do you want your coffee to stimulate you or to support you? If your daily coffee feels like a harsh push, a jolt you need just to function, you're probably overdoing it or using the wrong kind for your body. If it feels like a gentle, steady lift that helps you focus and feel good, then you've found your match. For some people, that match will be a carefully prepared cup of brewed coffee. For others, it's a quick and reliable cup of instant. And for many of us, the smartest choice is switching between both, depending on the needs of the day. So let's close the loop. Instant coffee is not unhealthy by default, and brewed coffee is not automatically superior. The healthier choice is the one that fits your unique physiology, your daily schedule, and your personal tolerance. It's about being an informed consumer, not a blind follower of tradition. If you want to dive even deeper into how coffee affects your brain, your sleep, and your metabolism, make sure you're subscribed, because that's exactly what we'll be covering in our next videos. Thanks for watching.